50 did not insult this man. He just explained to him the hierarchy. He just needed to be told a little bit, right? Unless you've been under a rock for 20 years now, we know that 50 and Diddy have not been good, right? That things have been a little awry. I'm not sure if they really don't like each other or if they're just keeping the interest alive to give both of them free cred. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you this, it's been cantankerous at times. Now, you saw where Diddy was popped for 50 months with all the things that he was accused of. Only 50 months in jail plus time served? Bro, that doesn't seem like much. Seemed like there might have been some friggin' in the rigging there, right? Come on now. 50 months just didn't I don't know. I feel like if I would have been up for that many charges, 50 months wouldn't even be in the beginning. I feel like there would have been a lot more than 50 months to be discussed. But whatevs, onward and upward we go. So 20 years they've been fighting, and they say it has to do with, and I'm reading a little bit of this, but it has to do with, they worked together on the album Born Again about Notorious B.I.G.'s, the posthumous album they did. And then 50 had the Netflix documentary, which was Sean Combs' The Reckoning, which ignited tensions. And they started talking about some stuff in that which was interesting, where Diddy is going to be accused of being tied to the murder of Tupac, which 50 seems to have some information that would push in that direction. Now, Diddy's like, no, that ain't happening, because he's been denying that for a long time. We still haven't got to the bottom of Tupac's deal. But just in case you ain't into the rap game, if you're looking for street cred, it's your boy Thug over here. Don't worry, I got you, boo. If you're looking for a man who knows his way around the rap game, I'm your boy, Bud. Count B-U-D. Sir, know my rap. Now you think that's funny? Don't let me get my Sir Mix-a-Lot collection out, because I know the whole thing. I'm not playing. It's a sad fact about me that no one should actually know. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The best diss of the weekend comes from 50. 50 dropped it like it was hot. Oh, wait, that ain't him. He can't drop it like it was hot. No. It's more about my birthday, but it really wasn't about his birthday. It was really more about the birthday of our Savior. So that's Jesus and whatnot. So really, it's not, we didn't party like it. We should have partied like it was Jesus' birthday. You get what I'm saying? The latest chapter comes now when Diddy's son, Christian King Combs, decided to post on X. He went off at the mouth. And he said, quote, "On my dad, if I ever see 50 Cent, I'll slap the F out of him." It sounded tough. It really did sound tough. Tweet stayed up just a second or two and was pulled down immediately because somebody on his team went, "Bro, that's a mistake. Like, that's not, we shouldn't do that." First off, 50's not tiny. He ain't built like me. I mean, the guy's, and Diddy's not very big. So I don't know. I think you don't want to pick a fight like that, but okay. So then it was up long enough for 50 to craft a response. And here's how the response went. "Lil bro, first, close your damn mouth when you take pictures. I've been rich 3 different times. Sold records, sold shows, sold liquor, sold power. Still living off Wi-Fi and legacy. Facts." What? It didn't even make it to the club. You know what I'm saying? He dropped it right there. Bro, once someone starts with "little bro," you're already humbled. It's in public. Like, you can't take it back. Dude, that's harsh, man. That's harsh. Bro, your tweet had more confidence than qualifications. I mean, let's be honest. So the line instantly, the whole world is, it's massive how quick 50 dropped it. Man, that was awesome. Now, if you didn't see the Netflix documentary, check that out. Diddy's lawyers are like, that was just a publicity piece. We'll see how that went down. I thought about it. I was like, that wasn't a threat. It was more of a cry for relevance. And in the end, when 50 dropped the line, the conversation was over. And tonight, we going to party like it's my birthday. Oh, man. Bill Bro, first, close your damn mouth when you take pictures. I've been rich 3 different times. Sold records, sold shows, sold liquor, sold power. You? Still living off Wi-Fi and legacy. Relax. The best of the weekend. Come on now. That's as good as it gets. Now, let's get back to Earth for a minute. I do not want to overreact, but we are absolutely being invaded right now. That's not a joke. You should react appropriately, and this is how every alien movie starts. A pilot sees something, the government's like, they shrug. We, like it never even happened. Next thing you know, Will Smith is saying, welcome to Earth. See? That's what I'm talking about. We are in the process of being invaded as we speak. A pilot reported a strange mid-air encounter while flying thousands of feet over Rhode Island. So here's what I'm telling you. The aliens have landed or are about to, and they're going to start in Rhode Island. I wouldn't have picked that in the pool. No, sir. If I went to a chicken drop, I'm not going to think Rhode Island. No, sir. That's not my first choice. But okay, maybe the aliens know something I don't. Maybe they like it over in Rhode Island. Maybe it's the... Well, good for them for finding a place that they like. Newly resurfaced audio and video on the YouTube channel, which is Vast Aviation. If you haven't checked that out, you probably should. It shows the pilot radioing ATC about a mysterious object. Now, he says it's a small, silver, cylindrical, I could never say that word. It's a round object hovering near the wing of his aircraft. What you talking about? Near the wing of his aircraft? He said to ATC, it appears to be standing still. That's messed up as chocolate cheese right there. No, sir. We are being invaded. Air traffic controller said there's no other reports of objects in the area. Clearly a cover-up. You know that's a cover-up right there. I can fly planes. Trust me, I know how the ATC would react. The answer would not be, we have no other reports. If there were other reports, they wouldn't lie to us, would they? It sounds suspect. At best, I'm telling you, it smells like a cover-up. There's aliens. I know there is. Now, the pilot kept on, and ATC was like, well, is it a drone or a balloon? He said, nope, just sort of seems to be hovering here. That's a problem. They were 3,500 feet up. Nothing. He said the sight was astonishing, but I have no idea what it was. Now, other people have popped up and said there are things over there. That's a problem. So clearly there's a cover-up going on. I'm not even a conspiracy theorist person. I don't even believe when the aliens get here that it's going to go like we've seen in the movies. I don't think so. I'm hoping they're going to be friendlier, and I'm hoping because of our courteous nature and because everyone needs to get along in this new world, I think things can go okay. Like I have proposed on this show before, I think there should be a Starbucks on the moon, and I think that would be a great place to meet like they do in Star Wars. Maybe we can trade around some speed racers. Maybe next thing you know, we can start trading goods and speed racers and speed racer parts. Maybe we can find a young Anakin. I don't know. Maybe we can make the whole universe get along better, but we need to start on the side of friendship. And then if things go bad, well, we'll shoot the devil out of them as fast as we can. 3,500 feet, there's a hovering disc by my wing. Don't tell me that I'm not being tracked by aliens. You know what ATC jokingly, you see the air quotes here, jokingly, because I know it's a cover-up and so do you. They jokingly said, good luck with the aliens. That ain't a joke. That ain't a joke. They know something we don't. Just like, on the pandemic. Just like Congress, they knew something we didn't. That's all I'm telling you. Good luck with the aliens. Over. No, no, sir. No, they're in on it. It's a cover-up. Other pilots monitoring the frequency, so there's other pilots involved, and they chimed in and said, I want to believe him. See? See, right there, if another pilot wants to believe you, that makes it pretty much true. And now that we know that the ATC said good luck with the aliens, no question we are being invaded. The FAA later confirmed and documented there were other people reported things up there. One other pilot said it was eerie. See? You see what I mean? Now you know what I'm saying. We are officially being Jeff Goldblumed and Will Smith, and nobody wants to call it. I'm calling it. I'm telling you, they're keeping it quiet now because it's at Rhode Island. If something happens in Rhode Island or Delaware, oh, you could just keep. Ain't nobody going to even care. What is Rhode Island, like 46 miles or something? I mean, it's not no bigger than a minute. Point is, stuff could happen over there, and nobody's even going to, you ain't got to talk about cover-up. Nobody's even going to know what happened. How many people live in Rhode Island? Like 13? Maybe? I mean, and some beer cans and a dog? I mean, that's about it. So you can get away with that. We can say anything. Now, if it starts getting bigger, if it moves from Rhode Island to, let's say, Gilligan's Island or an island that matters, then all of a sudden, we've got to start taking these threats more serious. I understand as a government, you don't want to overreact because it is Rhode Island, but I'm telling you, the very safety net that this country depends on may be being interrupted right now, starting in Rhode Island. Yeah, we need to seriously call out the Space Force or somebody. I don't know who you call, Space Ghost, Superman. Call somebody and let's figure out what in the wide world of orbit is going on here. Because things are entering our airspace that we ain't seeing it coming. That means we don't have radar to pick it up. That means y'all didn't even see it cross the line. You can't prepare to stop it or prepare to have a conversation with it if you don't see it coming. Do we need to update? Is it Control-Alt-Delete in order? Do you need to talk to Mr. Apple or hit up Mr. Hewlett or Mr. Packard? Let somebody know that we're in distress right now. Let them know that this is problematic for us because the aliens are coming and they're coming fast and they might already be here. This is hurry time. This is not... Listen, I've been around businesses. This here's a soft launch. They're just checking out where they're not landing yet. They're just checking it out. Rhode Island's just a starting place. Ask anyone who's ever lived in Rhode Island. They'll tell you it's a great place to be from. There's no official explanation. First, it's the Rhode Island airspace. Next, it's my backyard. I'm telling you, this is a problem. Put your tinfoil hat on a minute and don't let the government mess us up. You heard it here first. My name is Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. Okay, on another note. Why are car manufacturers, seemingly so dead set on getting to the $100,000 car/truck/SUV? Don't they seem to be in a big hurry for that? It's like the Wagoneer. We put that thing out, that big one that Stellantis put out, and they were like, this is the one. This is $100,000. They're still sitting on lots from years gone by because they're not $100,000. We as a people balked at around 70. Now we're like, nah, because the people that can afford to spend $70,000 on automobiles probably only paid that ish for their first home. We got a little lopsided here. They thought that they could just keep raising the prices like buyers wouldn't notice. But we noticed, and that's a problem. It's a problem for them. So, give you an example. The vehicle that I own is a 2023. By the time we get to 2025, it no longer has a 6-cylinder. It's a 4-cylinder, an unproven technology from what was bulletproof. So you get less vehicle, there's some pluses to it. Don't get me wrong. I realize the future's coming. But for right now, the vehicle went up $25,000 and lost 2 cylinders. I missed something in that. I don't understand why it's now worth $65,000 because it's not. A couple of things. $1,000. When you walk into a new car dealership, that's the number that they expect out of you. When I worked in the car dealerships way back in the early 2000s, I was in radio and I was always around car dealerships. And when I was around them, you could look at a customer spending somewhere between 18 and 24. Anyone that was above 24, well, those were your cash cows, right? That's the ones that bought the trucks. By the time I was around, I spent a little more time around the car business in the early 2000s, later 2000s, about 10 years down the road. And I was doing some research on this project, and I realized that number had moved from that 22 to 24 to closer to 26, 27. And then it rapidly jumped 30 over 40, and now we're at 50. That's a lot of money. So when you walk into the dealership, you are a $50,000 person walking in. And used to, that meant something, but now that means you're just the base. And I'm all about that base, but the base shouldn't be 50 grand. That seems like it's insane to me. Now, there's obviously some good deals out there. You can find cars used. And I didn't realize this. And I've learned this since living here in this Arizona area, Phoenix, Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, that whole area, that's Scottsdale that surrounds the metro. There are a lot of older people here. I don't mean one or two. I mean, most people here tend to be of age. There are a lot of aged people here. And what that means is cars aren't driven a lot. So you can get really nice used cars in the valley at tons of dealerships here with little to no miles on them. I mean, they have none on them. I bought a 2023 in 2025, and it had 1,257 miles on it. I mean, that's about as new as you get. Cars just don't get driven out here a lot, which is very cool. If you're looking for used automobiles, that's something to remember if it comes from this area, or if you happen to be living close enough to this area that you can make that work for you. When I start looking at brand new but unsold older vehicles, when I was in the car business messing around with those with car dealerships and the like, you spend a ton of money to get someone to come in, right? But on vehicle inventory, we always said that anything you've got in late December, you've got in May. And that's a problem because the next year comes up and that one the other one's a little more expensive probably, but then you're kind of on that window where it dropped a few $100s. It didn't quite match out. The good news is you're way ahead on the miles versus buying the current year where you're going to have to wait that whole year. So if you're a heavy mile driver, that's a problem, but it could be a benefit from going with last year's model. And then you can also look at the features and the like. But where I'm going with this, there are manufacturers that are still sitting on 2024 models. Now, that means if you want an incredible deal, there are 2024 models to be had. That's a problem for cars. We know that. But again, as we've risen to the $50,000, $60,000, and $70,000 marks, we're not paying that for cars. We're not buying Wrangler Jeep 4xEs. 18.2% of the new inventory remains unsold. The average price is $60 grand. The Nissan Z, I had a 280ZX when I was young. People who own 280ZXs and 300ZXs, I would assume, but 280s for sure, talk about them like a high school girlfriend. There's just a thing about driving a 280ZX. Mine would talk to you, ding, lights are on. That was cool. It was a really neat machine. It was fun. It had T-tops, digital dash, which was unheard of in the 80s. It was unbelievable. Fast. Before they slowed them down in 84, it was fast. But now, they're not selling those new Zs. A little under 20% of them unsold. Their average price is $53,200. Two-seaters are hard to move in any economy, but especially with Nissan having the issues that it has. Dodge Chargers run 20% plus unsold. They're close to 60 grand, but still, that means there's a deal on 2024s. There's plenty of them out there. Genesis GV60s, almost 22% of the 2024s are still sitting out there. That's a lot. They're at 57.7. Well-reviewed luxury EVs, that's a pretty good deal. You can probably pick up on those 2024s. Jeep Grand Wagoners, I was talking about those at the very beginning. They're averaging 92.4. And that's too many. That's 90. It's probably about 20 too many. So you can find them used, and a lot of times the owners will have their managers drive those things around and put some miles on them, and then they'll start reducing the price on them, which is helpful because they're not going to sell them at those 110 price tags and those 101s and 102s. You're really going to wind up being, when I see them at 81, I start going, you're close. And then when I see them in the upper 70s, I'm like, okay, I get it. I think, though, that number really needs to be about 72 before I'm comfortable, because we know that Jeep's quality is what it is. I think that changes if you're looking at a Toyota Sequoia. I think a lot of things change if you get into a brand. Atlantis dominates the top 5. The Dodge Hornet, I don't think anybody ever bought one of those. And the 2024s are still sitting on the lot. The Chevrolet Malibus are 31% unsold. Wow. And then when you look at Alfa Romeos, that makes sense. Jeep Grand Cherokees, that is a sad state of the economy when you can't give those away. Because when I was young, when you sat in a Jeep Grand Cherokee when they first came out in that newer body style with a little more rounded, and the interior became a focus rather than the first ones that had the roll-up windows and those metal everything. When they got nice, they got real nice. It was so much fun to hang out in those, and they drove so well. They never were the most, there was not a lot of quality in them ever, but it was so much fun just getting inside of them. And now there's 0.8% unsold with an average price of $64,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. So if you go in looking at a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and trust me when I tell you this, if they have 25s on the lot, they know they're going to have them for another year plus. You can drive that deal down. You're in charge of that. So if the price is 40 or 67 and you want to wheel and deal, great. Offer them 57. Offer them 47. See what you get, because they're going to be stuck with it. If not, take one of the 2024. 70% of them are still sitting on the lot. And then that Dodge Hornet PHEV thing, and there's 82%. That's just their average price of 41. What do you do with that as a company? How, I know if you are Ralph Lauren and Polo or whatever, and you have a group of shirts that you just can't get rid of, you can get them to discount stores by altering their appearance or something. You can drop them off, reduce the price, but you're still kind of in the game. And then you get out of it once you drop it off. But with these, what are you going to do? Because not only can you not drop them off, there's no profitability in them when they head into year 3 of sitting on your lot. Then what do you do? Because they're also vehicles that sit. Don't kid yourself. If a vehicle sat a year by with basically no one touching it and hadn't done anything, that's not good for it. Can't be. I'm telling you, I bought a motorcycle that had a year sit on it. You had to do all kind of things to get that thing back right, replace gas cans, and it was a lot of stuff that had to be done. So by the second year, that's not good either. So the leftover 2024s may be options for you. And I'll tell you something else I ran into. I was out looking at Harley trikes because I have a bike now, but my girl wants to ride, and I would rather have 3 wheels on the ground from a safety standpoint. I know we're still talking about, we're just mixing. I get it. But reality is 3 tires have to be safer than 2. So in most cases. So I was looking at them, and I was shocked at how many 2024s were left on the lots for Harley. I mean, a lot. And I don't mean just that rare gold one and the one that has that really putrid green paint. No. I'm talking about some really beautiful bikes, and they really don't have a putrid green paint. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't any oddball colors. A lot of times you'd get stuck with like a Toyota Camry in brown, and it was a 5-speed in 2002. Only 2 in 10 people even then know how to work a 5-speed. Now, it's probably less than 1 in 10. So when you're stuck with those, that's kind of a dog. That's what I'm saying. Can-Ams are the same way. Right now, they offered, just last month, they offered a incredible deal on 2024s. Y'all, 2026s are sitting on the lot. That's a problem. I got into a deal. I was talking to one of the Can-Am dealers about it, and I was trying to get the price. I felt like y'all were holding a price up on a vehicle that you couldn't sell, and I was offering to buy it from them. And it seemed like they were just hung in this, I'm not going to keep reducing the price. And I'm like, you're not going to sell it for that. Basically, they wanted to take $2,000 off of 2024 and say, this is a good deal. No, it's not. $2,000 off is nowhere near enough. That's not even 10% on a vehicle that's already a year old. that's dead inventory, and you've got 6 of them. Have you lost your mind? You have to reduce this if you want to recoup anything, because if they sit another year, Can-Am's not going to just come magically make them disappear. They're magically disappearing. That's not what's going to happen. They're still going to sit there. You've got to get rid of them. Why would you not? If you have a paying customer in front of you and you're holding dead inventory that's a year old, you don't want to get rid of it? What kind of business model are you in? Oh, I know. The kind that's going to be not in business soon. Are you crazy? You have to move that unit. If someone's going to pay you, you take the discount, whatever it is, and you sell. I wasn't being unreasonable on it. I mean, I'm one thing if I'm offering them 10 grand for it, that's not fair. I also know what the new ones were selling for and what the discounts were available, so I offered them a fair deal. They did not agree. So, okay, great. Now they still have those 6 vehicles sitting there, and they still send me emails. Are you still interested? I'm interested in you, not trying to jack me up. This is not a robbery. I'm trying to help you get rid of a vehicle that's dead weight. And now you're going into the 26s. They're all here. Hi, got new vehicles. And you're still holding 24s. Let's see how interested you are when the 27s come in, because you'll still be holding them. Why would anyone not move to the 2025s? Your discount's only $2,000. It's not worth it. RVs also typically experience holding on to 1 or 2 year old models. I didn't know that when I went out looking. When vehicles are aging on the lot, that's not a buyer problem. That's a pricing problem. I'll tell you another thing that's interesting about Can-Am, and I shouldn't have got into this. I got one more story to get to. But when you're talking about the Can-Ams and the Harley experience, it's not the same. When I went to the Harley dealership, I've been riding bikes since I was a child. I went, the Harley dealership was like, yes, let's go test ride this trike, you and your girl. I have insurance and all the things that were necessary. So we got on, we test rode, very cool. Nothing crazy. We just did the tour with a guy in front of us. So it was safe. We all have insurance. Everything was fine. You go to Can-Am and you're like, listen, my girl and I are going to need to test ride this thing because I'm not going to give you $30,000 for an automobile that she's not been on the back of. What if she gets in the seat after I spent $30,000 and goes, yeah, this seat's not comfortable. I'd rather have the Harley. Well, then I see where I'm at. And the Can-Am dealer's like, yeah, but our insurance, they don't really do that. And I'm like, are you thick? Son, I'm not going to give you I realize half of your buyers buy $5,000 or less. They're way less than 10. Your average buyer is probably around $8,500. Bro, when you ask someone to buy a trike, there's more than one person involved in the decision. You have to give both people an opportunity to ride on it. Insurance won't cover that. Well, I have insurance. Whatever. So that's another reason why they're still left with 2024s, because the reality is if you're buying a trike, it stands to reason that both people should be on them. Hadn't talked much about football today. Patrick Mahomes. I talked about the watches and the electric bikes that he gave his front line. Very cool. The Hubelos, the electric bikes, and then the golf videos, simulators to help them with their swing and all that really cool stuff that he gave them. Then I saw where Aaron Rodgers had given his line, speaking of Can-Ams, a whole bunch of Can-Am off-road vehicles, which is sick. So that was cool. And I think those were running the models that he were given. Not that it matters, but they were around $30,000 a piece. So that was cool. And Brock Purdy from Queen Creek, Arizona, gifted his line brand new Rollies. Submariners, about 10 to 12 grand a piece. Interesting. How do you get an AD that's got 10 Submariners in stock? Because when I talk to my AD, they're all like, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a long time before I get you a new sub. Brock Purdy walks in there like, oh, you need 10? No problem, bro. When you need them? Oh, tomorrow? I got you, man. I got you. Niners for life, man. I used to do Joe Montana the same way. What? You mean being rich has privilege? Dadgummit, I wish I'd have known that. But that's cool. So the front line got all brand new Rollies. I thought that was absolutely sick. Brock Purdy taking care, getting his investment right, making sure that he is set for the future. That's what I'm talking about. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Bud Ford Comedy. Have a great day. Thank you for spending some time with us today.